Hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my substitute co-host.
Hello Dan, how are you?
I'm good. You missed your cue. Michelle Walker from the Speakwalkers, a Lawful America.
The one and only. The one and only, Michelle. That's right.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. So, how's it going? Are you substituting for Tank because he's receiving lots of money right now, or?
Something like that. He has had some things going on in the last hours. It's actually been busy, with everything going on right now, and he's been extremely busy. And there's a couple of things that he's had to take care of in the last hour, and then he's working on another project, and that they're working to help the public with the fake corona pandemic. And so there are some things that he's been working on all day with that as well. And then there was a situation that he's kind of had to keep his eyes on. And so you're lucky you got me tonight.
Yeah, no, that's good. Anytime. So I just want to go over before we get started. Anything else? One thing that I wanted to point out. I just saw that was kind of interesting, and that's why I kind of left this picture here of this nice pool. But it was really about Madonna and her video that she put together yesterday or 2 days ago, and she put out. I'm going to go ahead and show that to everybody. Let me switch over. Where did it go? Here it is. So she's sitting here in this pool of white liquid.
How smart you are, where you live, how old you are, what amazing stories you can tell. It's the great equalizer. And what's terrible about it is what's great about it. What's terrible about it is it's made us all equal in many ways.
Well, without going into the whole thing, because it's pretty creepy overall, the one thing I noticed about it and I thought was kind of interesting was its relation to Jupiter ascending. And this was the liquid that they went in. Like this is Madonna descending instead of Jupiter ascending, because their adrenochrome is not working for them. So, and as we see this white rabbit reference also.
I know about the white rabbit.
Say again.
Hillary and Obama were having a conversation the other day, and they were talking about the white rabbit. They were actually talking about a general out of China. I tweeted Hillary about it to let her know that I knew. But yeah, they were talking about the white rabbit.
So the white rabbit is what did you say it was?
Hillary Clinton and Obama were having a discussion the other day, and they were talking about the white rabbit, and they were referencing a general in China.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a discussion, and I actually tweeted her about it. I told her that what she thought was going to happen, the bioweapons that she plans to do, that she loves to talk to her little friend Obama, and the little white rabbit talk that they were having face to face. And just wasn't going to happen. But yeah, they were talking about the white rabbit probably about 3 nights ago.
Yeah, so in China they have, of course, the adrenochrome, or the artificial adrenochrome, or man-made, might be the right word for it, but the artificial adrenochrome that is that they were all taking, right? And that's probably how it got spiked with the China virus. but it's just amazing to see that she's doing this this liquid in the tub. It's the type of communication they're comms, because they can't speak over the phone, right? They can't talk about this openly. But we see, these things happening where they're losing quickly
Yeah, we were
their
actually
youth.
talking about Celine, and the one that you just showed, Celine Dion. We were actually talking about her, how just how much she's aged, and
Yeah.
she really looks sad. That's someone that you can tell that there's a huge difference, and the adrenochrome is. And I think that's, what people thought when we were talking about how they were taking children, and you said adrenochrome and why it's so important. Dan, it's been it's sad for me, like when you've been fighting this, and I've been working on it as hard as we have, and a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when you would tell them that they're sacrificing children, they're using the adrenochrome, they're you know even the state government, CPS, is using this in the trafficking of children in the United States and across the world, but even in the United States, and people thought we were crazy that they would be using adrenochrome for anything. And 2 years ago, you would have not seen this as a discussion as it is right now. And so many people thought that we were, conspiracy theorists, and we were lying. And, I said to someone the other day, Dan, that I wish we were all wrong. Like, I wish we would have been wrong, that these things don't really happen, and that there isn't people that sacrifice children on a daily basis, a monthly basis, and there's quotas for the occult, and that they really do these things. The reality is that they do, and you see, if it is true that the adrenochrome has the coronavirus affected them with that, that's really what's happening. Or you see the supply not being available. And what I have heard is that the the mapping system was where the adrenochrome was, and being used. If that is true, then I'm sure they have put it into it being provided and to the sick people who use it to look young.
Well, I think that we can see the signs of it. Where they're it's across the board. They're all reflecting it. They're all talking on Twitter. So one Twitter thread where one guy put together the different celebrities, and it becomes like a conversation amongst themselves. And because they can't speak directly by the phone, it'll be recorded, right? So they use this symbolism and conversation in Twitter and videos. They kind of relay the information. And David Spade said, if Tom is okay, we're all okay. Tom is not okay. If Tom, stays quiet and we all stick together, we'll all be okay. No, you're already all busted, right? Because you became sick because your adrenochrome was spiked, with China virus. So
I believe it's those things, and Tink and I were talking the other night about just the change in the frequency and everything, and I just really believe that we're at a moment where the darkness is having a really hard time and functioning and surviving with all the light that is here now, and everybody that's fighting for humanity. I believe that people are really struggling. And those people had choices. And, I have a hard time feeling sorry for someone who kept their beauty, their youth, by hurting a child to, have the younger adrenochrome so that they could have their youth and everything.
Well,
I just don't have
I can't think of
have
anything
mercy
more
with that.
ugly than that.
Right.
There's nothing more
So,
ugly than that. So they're looking for physical beauty, but they're showing that they're completely ugly.
they always say there's like, you hear this constantly, Dan, where, once you go down the rabbit hole, you can't come out, you don't sleep. Like once you know the truth, you cannot sleep. And, and I don't think that I've probably had maybe more than 2 or 3 hours of sleep, in a very long time. Probably about 4 years in this process. But I remember one time a child being a part of a ritual, and there were literally babies on tables being, literally feasted on, and how you talk about the Hillary Clinton video where she took the face off the child, and that had been done to a child that was about 3 or 4 years old that was still alive, just suffering. And I saw a picture the other day of someone took of me the next morning when it was just so heavy, and I was working on getting the reports to the proper people. And today, I actually saw that picture for the first time. I knew exactly what that was, and there was like so much like pain that I don't really get to see those things when I'm working because I'm just working trying to do what I can do. But that time, I don't think I slept for maybe 3 or 4 days, trying to seek the proper answers and like, what are we gonna do? Like, how's this happening? How did how did our world and humanity get to this that these people, the elite or whoever that could even think this is okay, why are they not going to jail? Why are they not being prosecuted? Why would we even want to allow that kind of darkness within our society? I don't believe that people that do those things should be allowed to be in the society. If you will hurt the most innocent of a child, the spirit of a child who has not had a chance, I really have nothing for you. I was talking to someone today about, about their arrest, had there been no arrest, has there been not an arrest, these rumors that keep going back and forth. And I said, I don't believe that someone's a pedophile can be fixed, and should be welcomed back into society and have the free ways that you and I can walk. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that pedophiles can have therapy and be fixed. And I personally believe that when someone takes the innocence of a child or an adult and not of their free will, and they violate them, that they shouldn't experience freedom. We've had a world that has allowed the elite to get by with these things. And I really still don't understand why we had a justice system that has made a mockery out of us, like Hillary Clinton. She's put the United States at a risk to society, to us. She, like with her email server, she's broken so many laws in her position, and she's laid the face off of a child, and I know that that's sometimes hard for people to hear, but
And I'm sure it's not the only time. I'm sure it's not the only time. And it's not like a one-off. No, this is like a common occurrence. This is truly evil to the core.
with Local America and things, this is what really made me and Tank realize that um, with all these things, like you can have the intel, you can have all these cases all day long. I can tell you someone's crimes all day long and what they do. If we don't have a justice system that is willing to prosecute them, no matter who your name is, what good is it? And that's the reason that people really have to come to the table right now. Hillary Clinton should not be a free person. Um, I can name multiple crimes that if I did it, you did it, we would be in prison for life. There's no one in this world that should have a status that you can continue to live when you kill people, you fillet the face off of someone, when you abuse a child, when you know that you're using adrenochrome and how that adrenochrome is, prison and how they make it, how they get it.
Yeah. Even the artificial stuff that's being created, it has these bad side effects, right? So your body stops producing adrenaline, right? And so then you're addicted to it, and it also makes you hungry for meat. So this is it's unusual, but I do think we're right here in the end. I don't think that they make it past April. I think by the mid-April, we see them all are being picked up across the board. I want to go over this X22 report that he had done a piece about these time frames, and we've picked it up, and we've been talking about this 10 days of darkness starting April 1st and going to April 10th. This is a very well piece that actually works with the actual Q posts and looks at the markers. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to share this with you and then with the audience. So let this go. So this is from today, March 25th. Key opens a door. Blind justice under the law will return. Nothing can stop this. Episode 2130B at 23 minutes and 32 seconds.
Took the calendar of March and April. Took all the posts, and this is post 26, 497, 282, 34, 44, and 55. Now, when we look in March, it says marker start on March 11th. This is the global pandemic. And down below it says first marker done in 30. And if we look at post 26, it says think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled, save and spread. Once 11.3 verifies as the first marker, which is really 311. Biggest advance drop on poll. Under this shows Trump's tweet, hoping to get the payroll tax cut approved by both Republicans and Democrats. And please remember, very important for all countries and businesses to know that trade will no way be affected by the 30-day restriction on travel from Europe. Now, this was on March 11th, and this post refers to March 11th, which is the first marker, which is March 11th.
I just want to point out that this was Q post number 26. That's over 2 years ago. So this was all well planned out, way in advance. But I'll continue. But just that's to note. It's like this is everything ties together, and all the pieces are coming together right now.
Then we have on March 16th, 15 days. Remember, Trump has continually been telling us on March 16th, 15 days to slow the spread. So we have one count starting on the 12th and counting 30 days. We have the second count of 15 days. So we have two counts going on, and the second count starts on the 16th. Just remember that for a second. So 15 days to slow. If we go to post 497, it says good brackets when brackets 15. So the 15 matches up with the 15 days. When matches up with Trump's post on March 17th, and it says, "The world is at war with a hidden enemy. We will win." So then we take when. Remember, in post 497 it says when. When is this going to happen? Well, in post 282, and we read this before, and Anon says, "I have a question. The 10 days darkness, when?" Q answers, "Shutdown. 10 days of darkness." So the 10 days start after the 15 days are over. So if we look at this, the 15 days started on the 16th. If we count, the 15th day is the 30th. The 10 days of darkness starts on the 31st. When does the 10 days end? On April 9th. Remember that. Then we go to post 34. Now, remember, there's another marker, which is on April 11th. Where do we get that from? Well, we read this post once before. Let me just read the part. It says, "On POTUS order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is stated to occur on March 11th, that's the global pandemic, upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, actionable on April 11th. Confirmation to the public." So April 11th is the marker. So let's backtrack for a second here. We have the 15 days, which started on March 16th, and it ends on the 30th. The 10 days of darkness go from the 31st of March all the way to the 9th. The 10th is something completely different. That's post 44. The 10th, by the way, is a Friday. Before POTUS departs on Friday, he will be sending an important message via Twitter, "God bless." Then we go to post 55. Look to Twitter exactly this: "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. God bless." And Q continually tells us that this is going to be biblical. Then we go back to the first marker, which started on March 11th. 30 days ends up on the 10th. So those are the 30 days. We have the 11th, where the public is going to be made aware of what has happened. We can expect riots. We can expect people to be upset. We can see a breakdown in certain individuals. Let me continue. So that gives us that timeline. And then POTUS today came out and said this: "I would love to have the country open back up by Easter." Take a listen to what he said.
"I'd love to have it open by Easter. Okay, I would love to have it open by Easter. I will tell you that right now. I would love to have that. It's such an important day for other reasons, but I'll make it an important day for this too. I would love to have the country opened up and just raring to go by Easter."
So it seems that
He actually said, "I will make it an important day." So I think that's really what we're looking at here. We don't have to go any further, but we got the idea now. This is really laid out way in advance by QAnon, and is now all these pieces are coming together. So mass arrests, the whole thing. And then it's going to be craziness, right? Because people are going to be like upset, as I said. But I think that it's going to be a lot less people harmed this way, right? Using the virus as cover to get this operation
Are you
done.
sure?
I think it's much less than bringing it out all at one time and then just say, okay, we're deploying troops to go get everyone, and then then they don't get everyone because there's chaos. So yeah, I think this is a better way to go.
I think that anything that when the government continues to lie to the people in deception, it's the same game plan that they always have, and it's like Operation Norwood. I understand the safety of things, but I feel like there has to come to a point that if we really want um, transparency for the people, because the government has to be transparent. Yes, there are people that are dying.
But
More
it's
people die of the flu,
but it's the
and we
government
don't
that's
shut
so
down.
infiltrated and controlled. So it's the government is the problem, right? Because it's been
So,
so
is it
entrenched.
better for the government to is it better for the government to continue to lie to the people,
Is
to
it
make them think that there's a virus?
in this case? Yeah. In this case, it's a matter of it's a wartime situation. You don't tell the enemy what you're going to do, if it's within the
The
government that you're
whole
part of.
the the whole world, no, there's no way the whole world,
I,
the
I,
entire world shuts down.
I get.
Now,
I'll tell you.
I
You know, I'm at a conversation. Well, through WhatsApp with someone sending me an audio file and texting back. But he sent me this long audio file about because he listened to a video that I had put out, and he's used to work with me a few years ago in TBC and the goal of TBC. But now he went to go work for the World Health Organization in Africa, right? And he's
okay.
on the ground with it, right? And so he's 100% behind them. He's a good guy, right? Wanting to do good things, you know. No, he doesn't know. And he would be up in arms if someone was trying to say, "Well, we're going to take out the UN and the WHO." He'd say, "No, you can't do that," because he has no context, no understanding of what's there. So yeah, it is a matter of warfare that you can't tell. You have to manage the information, and that includes lying, putting out false information. Is it in a perfect world you don't have to lie, but we're not in the perfect world. We have to basically extract this evil, and then even as we move forward, we're gonna still have to deal with it, and extracting out the concepts that have been programmed into society. And it's like leading people down by giving them the breadcrumbs to follow. Right, and this is where we're at. We're following the breadcrumbs.
I do believe there are how people are just now waking up, and there have been breadcrumbs. Of the things that I think is extremely scary is that our government was able across the world to basically tell you to go in your home, and everyone obeyed and didn't question it. And that to me is scary that you can do that around the world, and there's no evidence that there is these mass people dying. And I have been talking, I get intel all day long, and I get intel from military people that are scared to death. And this is the one thing I said like 2 or 3 years ago. The issue that would be is there's so many layers, and even in the Pentagon and all these agencies that are good and bad, there are a lot of good agencies that don't even know the good agency exists inside like the Pentagon. And so like you can have the good guys show up and the good guys show up at the same place. They don't even know they existed because the way this system has been made, and it's not been made for the people. It was made for the deep state. It was made for the elite, for the Rothschilds and all that to do what they've absolutely done. I am always going to be for the people, constitutionalist, and fighting for humanity. And it is absolutely concerning to me. And absolutely, I would want everybody safe. I understand the logic of this truthfully on both sides. I have a lot of military friends. I've grown up with my dad in the defense industry, so obviously I do know what it looks like when things are happening. I have followed some of my friends in that world, and I've had military people call me who are scared because of what they're hearing and what they're seeing. And I do know for a fact that people are being taken care of, that are not for the people, and I've seen those things with my own eyes. What I hope that if anything comes from this, though, is that at the end, we ask all of ourselves, can I really just go on the TV without any proof and have every one of you go in your homes, don't go to work, shut your business down,
Apparently so.
lock up so you can go to the grocery store? And if that's the case, aren't you a little concerned that they have that much power over all of us?
That's the power they have. They've been programming us, to follow what the box says. All right. So the TV comes
They
on.
should never have that. They shouldn't have that power. So I would hope that the people in, we're on a timeline with my team, with Local America, and I've given us a 60-day schedule to put things in place in the states to be able to hold people that commit treason against American people accountable. We are going to push like New York and all them that are not even really lawfully under the Constitution. They are truly under the Articles of Confederation and the treaties. And I am about to hold them accountable for those things. If anything that happens in this process, I would hope that the people start taking their counties back, start with their county, get involved in their county. And I believe that this should be a huge lesson to all of us, that our government has had too much power. Right now they have too much power.
Right.
And that it is very important that we all get involved. If your government can get all of you to go buy freaking toilet paper where you're fighting on this because it's reported on the news, I still don't even know why y'all needed that. Like, it's not even a symptom on CDC. But it was like the way they were programmed. I think it's a time that we all look at ourselves and say, like you said, we're programmed to think these things. Why are we programmed? And why do we conform?
Well, even the government transition to a centralized government was done to us, where we were supposed to have 50 independent states that basically, decide to come together and use like one military, and to regulate trade, but that's it. Beyond that, the states are supposed to be independent and acting as their own governance, which is not beholden to the federal government. So we've lost that because they've changed it on us, and then they program us to just follow in line.
They changed it unlawfully. They made it a corporation. Yeah. And you have not had you had a Congress in the 41 Congress that was put in place, and even the jurisdiction of the District of Columbia is within that mile radius. And then a lot of people don't realize that their state is really actually should be looked more like a country, like the governor would be the president of your state. That's the way it needs to be. You should be looking at it because that's actually
the senators are appointed by the government of that state to the Congress, right? Because then they represent the state.
And then he said, he's also said, like we have those are paid seats. Like when I keep telling people like they go for legislation and they beg for them for their rights. Because they're paid seats, they're told to vote. I remember someone in Arkansas telling me that when the governor called them like at 2 a.m. and threatened them and told them that they would vote that way, a certain way that they did not even agree with. And so the illusion is very deep. And if you want your freedom, if you want what DANK, COUNT, State Project, Frontline, as many other major, huge advocates in the world, the illusion has to stop. And so I personally have a problem continuing the illusion with that there's a pandemic of the coronavirus and that all these people are dying and you need to be in your homes and the world is falling, the sky is falling and all that. Yes, there are absolutely things going on. There's meetings, as we know, but it's more about the banking. It's more about that they're out of money, and I mean, let's just be truthful. That's more really what this is about.
Right. Well, this rescue package that they were all set to sign, and Nancy Pelosi came in and disturbed the whole thing. She's already backed off of that because she got hit every which way. But she would create a large slush fund, again, so they can get money. I would hope that they just decide to go direct to the people and say, everyone, here's 10 grand, here's 50 grand, get restarted.
Of whose money?
Kim's.
But is it humanity? Is it the money that should have always been ours?
Yeah, right.
Or
but as a mechanism to deploy it, using this as a mechanism, I think would be great. But $1,000 is not going to do it. 12 now they're talking $1,200 plus $300. It's not enough.
I think $1,200 is an insult to the American people, for actually across the world, but the American people, they steal that from us every day. You are nothing but an energy to them. You are a slave in energy. If you are absolutely would be able to be pacified with $1,200 for these evil people to continue to control you and treat you the way they do, and you don't have a justice system, is that the price to buy you off for not to be a slave? It's an insult.
Yeah.
They make they have our bonds. I can put us, I'll do this in Local America tomorrow. I'll put out a website that you can go in and you put your Social Security, but you don't put the stash and spaces in there. And if you really want to know what the government has done, you'll be able to look at the bonds and everything that they've made the money off of you.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, when you put your children in there who have never worked a job, and like my son had never worked a job, he had like over 3,000 and something stocks and bonds that the United States corporation had sold to other countries, to make money.
You know how many I had? Well, it's been about
how many did you have?
220 some thousand.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was very active.
You know what I thought was really interesting was my grandfather has been gone at that time, right at 18 years. He was still alive in the system. According to them, they were still making money off of him. So that's really nice of you. And I'm not anti-government, and as Local America, I am always pushing for peace and an answer. And obviously, I work with a lot of people to try to find a solution. There has to become a point that we have to have a leader that steps up and says, hey, these people right here standing behind me, they're not doing nothing but lying to you. They've taken advantage of you, and we are working in a solution to restore the freedom and the power back to the people.
Well, this is the time to just reverse the flow. Have that money flow to the people, and then have the people move it into the economy. There shouldn't be governments giving to the companies at this point, right? The people can now go and frequent the companies after all this comes out, and we have this turmoil. We're going to have people that are going to be going back, and they're going to say, "Gee, I don't want to frequent that business. Why? I don't want to help them, right? Look what they've done." So we're going to have the ability, if we have the money flow behind us, to move it wherever we need it to go. But we need to be able to know that system that existed, right? It does, we just can't really turn it off. We can just reverse the flow of it, and have the money flow to the people. And it seems like an odd situation, but it will work, right? But the government ends up not collecting anything at the other end, right? They're only distributing money out. You look at the.
But you've got the illusion that the United States has power over the people. It's a corporation.
Well, that reverses too. That reverses too. That's the whole thing. It's not just that. If the people are the ones that are now moving the money out into the system because it's coming from the government to them, right? Because based upon what they have coming to them, right? So the government just keeps giving the money, not taking money from the people, giving it, and then we move it out into the economy, right? And then they don't never tax, they never have fees, they never collect any money. The government, people love the government if all they do is give them money.
A lot of people are complying with the government because they gave them free phones, free food, and all those things. And there's nothing in the Constitution that gives them the rights to do those things.
Right.
And there was a reason for that.
Well,
because you have people that say, well, I don't want to fight because I don't want to lose my free phone, or I don't want to lose my health insurance and all that. We need to come to a point that we take responsibility as adults, individuals, humans, and to help mankind. Now, with humanity, it was 1% of the funding that was coming in, and for projects for humanity. Absolutely, if we only had 1%, and if those things change, then you would definitely see, like you said, we would be building our own things and have clean water and building systems to help the homes in the world. I've studied history, and I have read so many treaties. Dan, in the last couple of days, I'm working on a path that I see that would work. And the Indians, all these treaties that were set in place, it wasn't the people that broke it. It's always been the government that broke it. Same as the Constitution was not for us. The Constitution was for them. So they would have restrictions, and they have not kept their word with us. And they had a certain set of things that they were supposed to be over, and they're continuing to be an overreach and overreach and overreach. And I'm always going to say this. I said this to Tank. Tank and I have this discussion quite often in the last few weeks. History proves it. History shows it. You will never gain freedom by giving up freedom. So I am very cautious at what is going on. When I have people telling me they're in lockdown, Australia yesterday called an emergency with all their people into the Paramount to force back on March the 25th, I believe. They're going to do a one-day sweep across the public schools in Australia where all of the kids will be vaccinated. That has nothing to do with coronavirus. That's control. And I do know that we have good evil. We have good basis evil right now. That's the bottom line. We have, the goodness, and then we have the darkness. And I do believe there are people in power who are fighting for us, even possibly like Trump right now with what he's doing. And overall, yeah, I believe he's fighting for the people. What I hope that what I do with my work in Lawful America is that the people realize that the power is in you. You have to stop expecting that person in office to free you. We all have a responsibility, and think that there are a couple of questions that everyone should be asking themselves right now. Is why was it so easy for them to say there was a coronavirus pandemic that killed less than the flu that kills every year? Or even we have 700 children a day in the United States alone that are taken by CPS, who is the main person that traffics children. There's no national emergency call for CPS. There's no national emergency call for flu. And I really believe that the people need to maybe ask themselves how was this easy? Now, I'm going to say to make you feel better, Dan, like I say with pain, I absolutely do believe in the safety of people. And yes, I do know the dark side because I get a lot of insight on them and I do study them. And so, yes, if they felt like they were in a situation, they might possibly would go into a school and injure children to scare people more and make you feel like you needed to do something that those things do happen, that is reality. And so I can understand to a degree the process of keeping people safe and keeping them off the street. And I do, yeah, I tell you, Tank, there's a very fine line here of what we're doing um, because people do need to be safe. We do not want people harmed. And obviously, we have been having a lot of battles underground. Probably the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 days, it has been extremely active on intel coming in. And there were like 3 days, I think I got in bed like around 5 or 6 in the morning for talking to certain people at the military, letting me know that there was definitely, which we've known this, there's been an underground war going for a while to take care of their tunnels through underground cities.
I think there's a big one coming up this any moment now. There another big earthquake.
I believe that we're going to see those things. And what I was told by a couple that, we had kind of dealt with what was underground and you're going to start seeing it move above ground to take care of what needs to be taken care of above ground. And I would probably say those are things that are pretty accurate from what I have seen tonight. So I do believe that there are things being done now above ground to make sure that the people are safe. And, I always tell someone, and I even told my team this, and fear is the number one thing that they can use against us for them. And so I would hope that even if you're left home, you're not fearful, and you know that there are, and there really are some good people who are fighting on behalf of humanity. I know that Kim is in meetings a lot of times, and she's got to be tired, where she's been fighting for humanity. She's always been a great spokesperson, and she's done a lot to try to make sure that we're all secure. I'm not even in her position, and I'm a little exhausted with what's going on. So I can't imagine people that are higher up how they feel. But I told my team today and then yesterday, we had a state directors meeting, and then we had our weekly meeting today at Lawful America. And I think this is the most perfect opportunity for all of us to look at each other while we're in our homes and start reading. Read the Magna Carta, read the Declaration of Independence, read these things that you're not familiar with, and it is our duty in the next, 30, 60 days, 90 days, and I really believe it is the duty for the people to have something set in place, and so that the people have a better voice than what we've had. And I know for us, Local America, we're on a 60-day schedule is what I put us on. We're working with the mulatto tribes, and I've met with them today, yesterday.
So what are you
tomorrow.
what are you trying to do with this meeting with the tribes? What's the goal?
The tribals, they still have a lot of power that I like to talk about. I had found some documentation where the treaties were still being talked about actually in Congress and House of Representatives in 2009, 2011. They were recognized with the Articles of Confederation, the Peace Treaty, the Treaty of Delaware. So on their land in the tribal, they would still have standing for the people. I believe that they should have their land restored. That was in their rights. And we're fighting a case right now on a person in New York that is an Indian, and the government's trying to take it away from him, and they don't have lawful standing to do that. And so on the treaty part of it, on the tribe part, and the tribes have not, they've withheld their treaty. It was the United States Corporation, the government, that did not. And I believe that they need to be accountable. Those treaties were written for a reason to protect those people and their the generations and the ones that were not born. I found some documents talking about even trust tonight. And I was reading to DANK that were amazingly set up out of Cook County, Illinois, who I just love and want to deal with. I took care of the Southgate case.
Yeah, so it kind of fits together.
That was like a gold mine for me. It was like a gold mine for me to find that. I was like really happy. I was like, all right, let's go for you there.
Yeah.
If you sit there and say that if we allow like the Iroquois, the Cherokee, and they kept their word, and they had these tribes, these constitutions, everything was in place, and we agreed to honor them. If we don't fight for them to still have those rights and those documents to be honored, how can you say that our Constitution's protected?
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
And
you have
so
to be law-abiding, right? It works both ways.
There's a law that says what the government has, the people must have. And when you commit fraud, there's no immunity, and there's of course, no time limit on fraud. I see that a lot of times within the government. They need to be held accountable. With these treaties and with the tribes, I have some tribes sitting at my round table that I have the utmost respect for them, like Chief Tomahawk and some other ones that we are working with. They are fighting for the people, all of us, and they give you a concept, how to make you understand how we got to this place. And they always say your elders can give you much wisdom, and so having them at the table is a way of them being able to provide things that I don't know about because I'm younger, and they can tell me how the system broke. And so we've been working together to restore the power back to the people. With the Articles of Confederation, I've said for over 2 years ago that has always been in place, and it was very nice to find the documents and then to have some people very high up in the government. I called them the other day and I said, can we talk about New York? And I said, the Articles of Confederation is what's in place in New York. It's not the Constitution. They're still under the Articles of Confederation. I'm right. And they're like, yeah, you are right. And what is so great about like why I'm really focusing on New York is because the UN is the headquarters is in New York. It's actually in Manhattan. That land belongs to the Iroquois Indian. So that's an important piece. And but the UN was created by the United States. Um, so when I look at things as a corporation, and I see who our enemy is of the people, they're not representing the rights of the people, then for me, strategically, the best thing for us to do is to find out how can we lawfully dismantle them from being a power of the people. And so the tribes are very important because their treaties are still in effect, as well as having people who have been victims and understand it. But I don't really think there's probably anyone that probably in America that the Indians actually could probably give us a history lesson of what it's like to have your women raped, your children killed or taken from you, your land taken from you, and put in a place. I think it's a very important time for all of us to seek wisdom from them, find out what went wrong, and use the lesson on what happened. And I think that it is really time for all of us to come together and make the people that work for us honor their work. And those treaties have to be honored because they didn't do anything to break them. If our government in place who are there to protect us cannot honor their word, and they cannot honor the Constitution and the laws in place, and they cannot truly represent the people, then they don't need to be there.
Right.
And our Constitution gave us the right that if there was tyranny, that we had a system to protect the people. And I believe that we're at that point where the people really have to come to the table and say, okay, this is what it is, this is what's working, and you will abide by this. If you do not abide by this, then you will be held in your official and your private capacity. And of course, my favorite word, you will be charged with treason. So, and then in the game for us, I guess, Dan, is I think that everybody should have the opportunity and our entire world um, to have the right to have food and to not have to worry about really sleep. We got so many vacant homes, and homelessness should not be an issue in this one. And those things only happen because of greed. Greed with the Rothschilds and among other people that we've seen that have enslaved us. And right now, unfortunately, we have, who I believe could set up a system through the humanity that we can take care of homelessness, we can take care of the illnesses and things like that that we've seen. I just, on my clock, and as long as I'm here, I'm going to keep working and to educate and empower the people so that they know what their rights are and that there are things in place like the Magna Carta and the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. All of these things are in place to protect you. And but more importantly, I think it really is time that humanity, we shouldn't have children suffering. We shouldn't have children that are not being fed. And you should not ever, ever have a veteran who goes to war for anyone. And then he comes home and his home's been taken away and he doesn't have the support to get healthy and he lives on the streets. Or that we have our veterans that are so broken that we incarcerate them. And the percentage of the incarceration in the United States unlawfully is unreal. And it's a prison system that makes money. And so I really believe that that it is just really a time that humanity has to step up to the plate and demand that these people are free, that are in prisons that have been held there unlawfully just so they can make money. The judges, and I saw in one place down that a judge in that area who sent a person to jail, and he made $160,000 bonds. And do you think you're really going to have a fair court in his courtroom?
No, I do not think so. I think everybody goes to jail.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so,
you go, hey, you're going to jail. Why? I make $100,000. I send you to jail. It's a ridiculous system.
About getting and you know, I've always said this. I have a serious problem. I know that some people may think that I don't like Trump or anything like that. I'm really not that it's not that I'm not political. I'm actually very involved in politics. I normally don't speak about it as publicly. But there was a transition with me about 2 years ago when I realized that it didn't matter what party was in place, all of us were still victims.
Yep.
And we were still all being slaves. And I think you and I talked about that, how you were used to. Like, I just want the good guy to be in place that really sticks to his oath, or his yes is be yes, yes is and his no should be yes and no's. And we really shouldn't take an oath, because taking an oath makes you actually a foreign agent of this land. We have to change what's going on, and I think that's what this is about. Like, you can say it's a pandemic, you can say that there are absolutely changes being made. I see that. I can honestly say, I get reports. I I'm the one that supplied a lot of the routes in my tri-state area on child trafficking, and I do know that a lot of them have been taken out, which is a good thing. And I'm glad that we are keeping the casualties at a very low number. So I agree with those things, but I really, really believe that we are at a point that it's really all of us. We've been kind of lazy. We allowed them to poison our air. We allowed them to poison our food. We allowed them to vaccinate us. We've allowed them not to give us the medical care that is available. You can go to other countries and get it a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And I know you know that. I have a friend that lives in the Philippines, and she's always telling me what things cost there, and then she comes to the United States.
I've given examples, like I go see a doctor here. It's between $5 to $10, right? And that's not the co-payment. That's the payment. And the doctor is, it's like a regular doctor's room, office you go to, and just like you would in the States. It doesn't seem any different, right? You're the only thing is that you're not going to have another bill following you, right? Now, this may seem a little bit less money, but considering, the one amazing thing, I was helping someone here who had one of those very had an illness that needed to have an MRI. This is the top MRI machine in the world at the time, which was probably like 3 years ago, maybe 4. And she said, with blood tests and seeing the doctor, it was less than $300, and the MRI.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. It just it was just walking in off the street, no appointment. Just through the process, and this was done by 2 in the afternoon. Went like at 10, so it was 4 hours. Did all the tests and everything, and back to see the doctor and to get all the results, and that was it. So why can it be here but not everywhere else? It's because the insurance. It's because the government interference. Here it's all private, right? And if it's because the government gets involved and they start paying, the corruption starts, and the prices rise. Why else in the?
And that's the part.
Yeah.
That's like part of the Constitution.
Yeah.
And I believe that people should have good health care. I mean, they should have the opportunity to have good health. But again, the Constitution
there are.
Constitution doesn't give the orders to the government to do that.
Right. Everything would not be expensive if the government didn't get involved in it. It's because the government gets involved, the corruption follows, and then they start making $4 trillion slush funds when there's an emergency going on, so that they can fill their pockets. They're sick. They're absolutely deplorable. Oh, yeah. The more appropriate word for the use of deplorable.
Absolutely. They're absolutely deplorable, and I think that that's I hope that like with Law of America, our group, we said we're just going to continue working as we have been, and to continue to change the world. And we say laugh, you know, you know, you're home with your families maybe, and spend some time with your kids, play a game. I always ask when someone's significant in my life, and what is the peak of the day, so you get to find out what is the peak, in your life. And I hope that this moment takes where we start spending time getting to know each other again, as people put our phones down and turn that news off that's trying to scare you. Dan, it was like on every day, and I really do not watch the news. I get reports, I watch our Telegram groups, and I don't watch the news because I think they get irritated at me because I talk to it, because like they're talking, I'm like, nope, that's Operation Mockingbird, nope, that's Operation Norwood, no, you're lying, and nobody's like so much TV with me anymore. I'm like the worst person to watch a movie.
No, you're the perfect one. You should actually do a broadcast that way, where you're just watching the news and making commentary on the commentary.
I should. You would be laughing probably your asses off if I did that, because I would be like, okay, that person behind Trump knows they're lying because he looks like he's about to throw up, and then you can tell like when.
That's why I like to put the thought bubbles above their heads, and write in what they're thinking while he's talking.
And like the one that was in the military the other day, like he just kept swallowing so hard, and then the woman that's always on there, like she's literally aged, like she's aged in the past couple of days, and then so yeah, like I will watch body language, and I'm like, come on guys, like don't you know the trick here? But yeah, I'm like the worst. I yell, I'm like, I'll walk by and I'm like, no, that's not true. Like, don't y'all know about this? And so yeah, I'm kind of really bad about watching TV with people. And so I normally just watch YouTube, or I just watch my front. I do come watch you in Tank for entertainment, and see if Tank falls asleep, or if a kitty shows up and
she just jumped on my lap. Yeah.
and,
she just.
With our team, we really are just trying to stay very positive and not be afraid. And when people are afraid, I think you should calm their fears. Be supportive. Check on your neighbors. Check on the elderly, because a lot of them are not leaving. And if you have extra food, supply it. Call your loved ones. Just let them know that you love them and you're supportive. The amazing thing that I've always said about America is that when something goes wrong, the people always stand up, and we always take care of things. We always take care of each other. I think that's the beauty of America with the people. And I really think we're at that process. I think that it is time, it's past time for the people to demand change from the government, um, to find out why is the funding not coming around? Why are you bankrupt? Why has Congress not been in session for many, many years? I said that to Tank. I said, how can you call national emergency? There's no Congress. You've been in session for a long time. And you sure as hell can't call martial law because, again, Congress has not been there for a long, long time. They've not been in true session, and they have to be in session.
So when is it where they last in session in your mind? 1871.
It's 1871 or 1981.
One of the two. There's a little bit of a distance in time.
I have the video. So it is when they announced when they were bankrupt, and I do have the video. So I'm going to send it to you so you can show your audience, because I do actually have the video where they were no longer in session. So I thought it was 1981, might be 1971. Now it was the 41st.
Oh, I was saying 1871. I think 1871.
Oh, that's at the U.S. corporation. But when we went bankrupt is when this whole everything changed. I think if people realize, I think it's like there's only 2 in the world that are not bankrupt right now. If they really understood the process of all that, it might think a little different. Time to wake up.
Yep.
Like, the curtain has fallen.
Well, this is the time. I'm so excited about what's happening right now. This I know it's a bit scary for people, but I'm not scared in the least. I'm very excited. Yeah, I know there's going to be some challenges, maybe hard to get food, or but these things are just weeks of time that we're going to have to deal with this, and then we'll know what's been going on, and everything's revealed. And we will be adults about it. I'm not really. I know there'll be some rioting and some craziness here and there, but the majority of people the super majority of people are not going to even do anything other than rejoice in knowing that we're now done with that, and figuring that now we're not under all of this evil. We really can shine. We really can. I really feel that's where we're at, and I think it's that close, that we're really just talking weeks of time, and then funding wise for the projects and stuff all seems to be, that would be the time to have it flow, right, where there is no one out there stopping it on a burner phone,
I speak. I believe our words are very powerful. My team, you probably get tired of me saying this. I always say set the intention on what you want. And I actually now heard Joe, my state director in California, the other day, say, do what Michelle says, set the intention. And so I believe in setting the intention of what we want. And I set the intention that every morning I meditate for our team and for actually the world and pray. And,
Michelle, it only counts if you say it here on this broadcast.
So what I am going to tell you is what's going to happen is the funding is going to come through with no problem. That all the people that felt like they had the power to block it probably removed. And I believe it's going to be extremely easy. I've actually have seen visions where the money was flowing through. It was slow at first, but it was coming through. And I truthfully believe that there is going to be a shift in the way that humanity has behaved and acted. And that the light and the people that have a good heart are going to be so strong and powerful that the evil and darkness won't be able to stand. But the intention that I set is that the funding is going to come through, and I believe within 3 months, there are going to be some amazing changes across the world, and there's going to be a lot of happiness and love come out and light. So I say within 3 months, there'll be major changes, and I'm on a 60-day schedule for Local America. I put us on a schedule, and we've been having meetings to put things in place for the people to have a way to have a voice, a bigger voice. And so I put us on a 60-day schedule. But yeah, I believe in 90 days. Things are going to be really great. The funding is going to be in a position where we can start having these special projects, and that the people are going to come together to make sure everything happens. And so I believe that's what's going to happen.
He agrees.
And then I believe that you're going to probably want me more as your co-host, and that's what I'm saying.
Oh, hey, you're welcome anytime. You can be here every day if you want. It's okay. No problem with that.
I think the audience likes Tank, and I think you.
Well, we just make a separate show.
We could.
Do
a show of me making fun of. We could do a show of me making fun of what they see on TV. That's lies.
You know, I was the reason why I was saying this because I was thinking of doing that along the way. I said, I should just comment on this piece right now, right, and go live. Hey, look what this happened, right, and then make a comment. Yeah, make them short, like 10 seconds or 2 minutes, or hey, look what just happened. Craziness, something really simple.
I like to watching and I'm like, that's a sleeve, like that's a robot, like that's not human, like their eyes, like I love their eyes. I love that.
Yeah, the director of the CDC that's always behind Trump, he's got some rapid eye movement going on. I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what his background is.
Yeah, same thing that like the more the robotic, look that some of them do, and I usually kind of rewind those.
I want to know where I can get a few of them. I got some robot tasks around that I want to have them get done, and say, hey, do this.
I could call Hillary because I think
don't do that.
She
I don't
knows
want her robots. They're all defective.
They might have a little bit of a glitch. Like, I mean, she may have a little bit of a glitch. So, but, that's typical Hillary. If they half-ass make it, they half-ass do it. So no wonder she has a glitch. If you want a robot, I don't know. Maybe we can find
when I was in kindergarten, I was designing a robot using spirograph.
Really?
Yeah, the gears, those were the gears. And so I tried to work it into where on the cardboard boxes and, get them to turn and put rubber bands to be like the belt that would go between them. And get the arms to go up and down. So I wanted a robot since then.
In first grade, I got expelled for 3 days. First grade.
Well, is there some other story behind that, or are you just like leaving that out there to?
I got caught cheating on a test in first grade, and they expelled me for 3 days.
Yeah, I remember stealing some Swedish fish.
That time, I think.
I remember stealing Swedish fish from the local little, it's a little store, right? And as a little kid going in there, and I went back later and paid for it, like years later. I don't know, I was maybe 10 years old.
Oh, really? That's cool.
But he said, do you think that I don't know that all the kids that would come in here are pocketing candy? he just let it happen, right? But he, he'd act like, nonchalant about it, right? Yeah, but he was a good guy. Mr. Reese.
Yeah, I
I
got
remember
expelled
his name.
in first grade. I don't even remember actually what test it was, but I did get expelled for 3 days. It was a nice vacation. I kind of liked it. And then I got expelled in high school because my teacher was trying to tell me that Hitler died, and I argued with her and told her that Hitler was not dead because narcissists don't kill themselves. And so I made this argument that there's no way that Hitler killed himself.
Yeah.
And so I got in trouble and got expelled for that as well, for saying that.
Well, blasphemy.
And by the way, I was right. I still want to send her the FBI document file. I do have it, and there's many days that I'm kind of tempted to mail it to her and say, "You expelled me for 3 days for this," and I was right. If you look at the FBI file, but yeah, I was a little bit of a troublemaker.
So what are you gonna what are you gonna do? To get have her make reparations to you for those 3 days of suspension.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe.
I should ask for a remediation. Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could suspend her for 3 days.
I hated her in school, and I did. I hated her. And then about 2 years ago, I went by my school, and I thanked her. And she was my English teacher. She is the one that always made me research and write. And so I did go by, and I thanked her. I said, "I hated you," and I hated that woman. She was so tough. And but out of all the teachers, I did learn the most from her, and I did go back and thank her for that. And they also kicked me out of chapel because I went to private schools, and
So Michelle, is this the appropriate topic for our broadcast? I'm just wondering, it's like we're a little off topic here. We're slipping into more like a one-on-one conversation here. But, we could end it and keep talking. What time? Yeah, we're an hour and a half.
You should do so. Yeah, it's time. I actually was supposed to have another meeting with someone, and I told them that I was. I said, I'm going to go to this meeting, and then I'll come and do another meeting. A lot of times my meetings are at 2 or 3 in the morning. And hopefully Tank should be back tomorrow, and so I'm sure he will have some great intel for all of you, and give you some great information.
That would be good. Definitely good.
And I will give him your message and tell him to get in touch with you as well.
Okay.
So, and thank you. Y'all all stay healthy, stay in the light. And
well, this is the time of year where I take off my shirt and I go stand in the sun because it's got this really super intense sunlight at this point of the day. It gets getting into the 90s. Here it's been that way for the last 2 weeks, and so it's the summertime here.
Okay, so you are gonna let me talk about getting in trouble at school, but you're gonna talk about taking your shirt off and going getting messed up.
No, I thought we already ended, but
I'm picking on you. I'm picking on you.
It's okay.
No. Thank you for always letting us have a platform. We really didn't have, many. So it's kind of interesting what's going on in the world. So I think you should just continue to watch the elite and panic. They definitely are panicking.
The ones worshiping now.
Worshiping someone, not worshiping the right thing. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I promise Tank will be here. Well, I'm not gonna promise.
Yeah, you should watch out with that on Tank.
I'm not. I'm gonna take that back. Something may come up, but if he is not here I'm sure he'll get a hold of me or Lisa to come on the show and game as well. So thank you, Dan.
Oh, thank you,
Have
Michelle. It's been a
blessed
pleasure.
night,
We keep stepping on
and one
each
day
other's
maybe we'll do a
conversation.
show.
Yeah, we have a delay.
Actually, you have a little bit. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mean to. You have a delay on my end, so I apologize that. But yeah, I have a delay for some reason with you, so I apologize on that.
It's because I'm
But,
11 hours ahead of you, or something like that. Little time
It
delay.
could be that I'm in the south as well, in the south. So,
Oh, because you're just, is
yeah.
it a slow draw down in the south? That kind of thing? Okay. The southern draw.
You and Tank have got to work on your southern accent.
Y'all and Tank? Y'all and Tank?
You and Tank have to work on your southern accent.
I can do
That's
my
what
southern
I'm gonna
accent.
do. I'm gonna have a class for you too. You two boys need to learn how to speak southern.
Southern?
So, southern.
Southern? Okay.
Like southern. Like, yeah. You know, y'all boys, y'all.
Y'all. All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Yeah, have a good night. Good night, Sam.
All right.
Good night. Good night, guys. Good night, Dan. Good night, everyone. Y'all have a good night.
Subscribe. Share the videos. Double thumbs up.